RT unit has a bad motivator. Look.
Hey, what are you trying to push on us?
What about that?
Alright, so here we are with this project. And we're on the mower, as you can see. And the mower lid is up. And you know what that means. Something's wrong with the mower. Well, it doesn't want to start. And I'm right in the middle of a project. You'll see right here. I'm trying to haul pine straw around. But it ain't having it. So here's what's going on. I put all the things in, all the safety switches are working, and you hear that? So I've got the battery charger hooked up, and it's on 10 volts. And I don't know if you can see down there. When I do that, watch that little needle right there. When I do this, it's drawing current. Can you see that movement down just a little bit? It's drawing current, and you can hear the click, which is coming from the solenoid, which is right there. So let's do it again. And the solenoid's clicking in. Now what I'm going to do is check to see that there's actually power getting to the starter. And the starter's this one right there. So my guess is that the starter's having problems because everything else seems to be working. All the safety switches are working because you wouldn't hear that click if they weren't. I'll show you. Take my foot off the clutch and nothing. So I'm turning the key. Oops. Get back here. I'll get around here. So I'm turning the key. No click. So I have to put my foot down on this to get that safety engaged. And now it's clicking. And that's the solenoid clicking down there, the starter solenoid, trying to get the starter working. So let's go hook up the multimeter to the starter and see if it's actually getting juice to it. Okay, let's see if we get power here. Interesting. It's on 20 volts DC, and I'm getting almost no power into the starter. And that tells me that the solenoid is not putting all the power through. So we're going to try one other thing. Alright, so let's, we've got that hooked up to the starter down there. Now we're just going to touch this to the hot lead, and sure enough, the starter works. So, the starter works, the battery's good. That means the solenoid is not working. That gadget right there. So let's take that out and see what we can find. Well, I've ordered another one of these, so we could put a new one in. But just for fun, let's take this apart and see what makes it tick. So a solenoid is usually a coil with a metal rod in the middle. That when you put power across the coil, which is what these two would do, it drives a metal rod one way or the other and makes contact between these two. So these are high amperage, we'll call them, it's 12 volts, but it's high amperage across from the starter, so it comes from the battery to the starter. And the switch is a low voltage but 12 volts, or sorry, low amperage but 12 volts. So we'd have low amperage 12 volts from the switch come into these two. When you turn the switch, then these two get activated. That sends the coil the other way, makes contact with these two, and you get power from the battery to the starter, and the mower starts. And this is really how it works on any vehicle that has a key. You want the low amperage side and the high amperage side. So this one gets contacted by the solenoid. So my guess is that the reason this isn't working, excuse me, is because the contact between these two in here is dirty. So let's take it apart and have a look. So to get started, we're going to have to get rid of these rivets here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's pretty easy. I'll go ahead and go grind those off. I won't show you that, but I'll grind those rivets off, then we'll take it apart. Okay, so there's the rivets ground off. Ground off? Yeah, I guess that's the right word. And then what we do is just take a punch and knock them out of there, and then we'll be good. Now, let's see if I can do this without making a mess. So I'm going to just punch it right through there. There we go. There's one. There's two. Here. There's three. There's four. And of course, what happens is because there's a spring in there, it's going to pop right up. So let's see what that looks like in there. There we go. And it's rusty and kind of nasty. Let me get it out of the vise here. See how that's kind of nasty and rusty in there? So that spring is holding everything down, so I'm taking the spring off there. This is the contact that probably goes back and forth. Let me see if I can get that out of there. So my first guess is that has rusted into place, which is why it was having trouble going back and forth. Let's see if we can get it out of there. Remember, we got a new one coming, so we can kind of break this one. Let me do this off camera. I'm going to have to get a little leverage on it. All right, so these are the pins that we had over here. I just pushed them through, and this whole thing slides off of here. There we go. And this is the coil. Get it in focus here. This is the coil, so when you put power to these two, it makes this metal shaft go in and out. So it'll push down, probably, like that. And what it's pushing on is down in here. There's a little, do this with a screwdriver. There's a little pin down there that will go up and down. I don't know if you can see that. Like that. So let's get underneath this and see what it looks like. Alright, so we got that out of there, and you can see how crusty this is. That's all rust and nasty stuff on that one. And there's the pin that we were looking at right there. Comes out from underneath like this. And that pin is controlling that, which is the contact between, when we look down in here, I'm going to point at them. These are the two contacts right there and there. And those correspond to these two posts up here. So let's do this real quick. This, you make contact, this pushes down on this pin here. Let's see if I can do all this. Pushes down on this pin here. Point with a screwdriver. So this one pushes down on this one. These push down and make contact between these down here. And really the problem with this was that those contacts down there look all right. I'll get the light on them. These look all right, but they're not great. These look all right. It would be making contact here. You can see where the scorch marks are. Let's see if I get that in focus. There we go. You can see where these kind of scorch marks are here and here. That's where it's been making contact across there to start the engine. So all the power for the starter coming from the battery flows us through this little piece of metal here. And so if we were try and fix this, we would clean these contacts up here, and we'd clean these contacts down in here, and then we could put it all back together. But you know, for $15, it's hardly worth it because this is also rusted and nasty. It's just better to put a brand new one in. But that's how it works. Is these are just copper posts, if you might, or probably brass posts that stick down in there with that on the other end right there. So it's a fairly simple mechanism. This pushes on, get everything in here. Yeah, there we go. This pushes on this, which pushes that down against those two posts and makes contact, which is why if you're trying to start the engine and you don't have, the key doesn't work, some people will put a screwdriver across these two posts, which is kind of what I was doing when I used the jumper cable, is to just put, you can put power across these two posts and it will actually start the engine if you have the key in the right position, because you're just basically avoiding all of this. All right, enough on that topic. Let's get back to installing it and getting the mower fixed. All right, so there's the new one from Amazon. 15 bucks, I think, so let's put that in. I gotta reach way down to get a bolt in there. These are really handy gadgets. So I just clip the bolt in there and reach down there. And, oops, you can't see what I'm doing. Well, let me get a little closer up here. There we go. So, just down there and give it a twirl and hopefully it gets started. And look at that. Keeps my knuckles from getting busted. There we go. I'll finish it off with a wrench. Look at that. Well, I had to put those on. Sorry, there wasn't room for all of us in there, so I put these connectors on here and here. So let me tighten this last one down. This one here. And then we'll slip those two on and we'll see how it works. Okay, so you guys remember which wire goes where? I think purple goes over here and black goes over here. All right, there we go. Good. Then we just have to put this one back on the post here, up here. Oops, can't see that right there. And then we'll give it a try. Okay, here we go. Ready to try it up? Woohoo! Yeah, baby, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, that project is all done. Thanks for watching. There it is down there. Our new one, well, wherever it went to. You can see it down there, sort of. Thanks for watching, and good luck on your projects. Be sure to like and subscribe. Bye.